Well, it was a big weekend for me. I had the opportunity to marry the girl of my dreams in Cindy Fournier, now Cindy Fournier, Holland. And we had a beautiful ceremony with friends and family, and I feel deeply, deeply lucky to have married a person that I love so much, who really I consider my soulmate. So that was a pretty amazing thing, and I've other than that been spending the summer touring, going a lot to different parts of the country, talking about public safety issues, about how we can make our communities safer, and really seeing the gaps that are there. Well, there's a lot of focus on enforcement. There's not much being done in the way of prevention, and going into facilities, penal facilities that are overflowing, where there aren't the programs and services to make sure that people don't reoffend, because the reality is people come out of prison, and when they come out of prison we want to make sure they're able to reintegrate, they're not going to be reoffending and then going back into a prison system that costs over $80,000 a year to incarcerate them. Secondly, we're seeing a lot of the impacts of the cuts the Conservative government has been making to prevention programs. Boys and Girls Clubs, Salvation Army, some of those that are in the front lines of making sure that crime never happens in the first place are watching their funding evaporate and the programs that they were delivering to communities being cut. And that's having a devastating impact. So doing a lot of that. I'm going to be doing more in both Hamilton and Kitchener and Peterborough in the next little bit, but certainly was out west and out east. Well, another issue that's really seizing the Hill right now is the plight of Suaad Hagi Mohamud, who was stuck in Kenya and essentially forgotten by the Canadian government. And we're seeing time and time again that Canadian citizenship doesn't mean what it should when Canadians are abroad. In the example of Suaad, who's from Toronto, she didn't have her documents recognized and wasn't able to return to her own country. And it's something that I think all of us can relate to as an absolute nightmare, being abroad and not being allowed to come back as a Canadian citizen. It's unacceptable that it happened, but unfortunately it underscores really how this government is treating Canadians abroad generally. And we're seeing case after case where they're really eroding the protection and value of Canadian citizenship. Lastly, it's not too far from now and Parliament will be returning, and when we come back it's going to be fairly uncertain what kind of future we're going to be facing. Obviously when we left, not only employment insurance but the accuracy of the budget figures that the government was giving, the crisis in medical isotopes that allow cancer patients to get properly diagnosed, were issues that we demanded answers on. And unfortunately, over the summer months, really nothing has been forthcoming. And the committee that was struck to try to find solutions to make EI equitable across the country during difficult times has really resulted in not much compromise at all from the government. We continue to be willing to talk and to try to find middle ground. We believe that minority government is about meeting in the middle and finding ways to work together to productive ends for Canadians. But a minority government is not about Stephen Harper doing whatever he wants or acting as if he has a majority. It is apparent that he is going to have to work with opposition parties, recognize the minority status of government, or we're going to have a very difficult and tenuous situation come this fall. So that's not too far away. I hope everybody's enjoying their summer, and I look forward to talking to you soon.